And thank you very much and for staying with us here on the JoyNews channel and for tuning in for PM Express. We have an exciting conversation coming up here on the show. You don't want to miss it. It has something to do with Parliament and everything else that's been happening in the House. We'll try and unravel it all for you to appreciate from the minority's point of view. Remember, the PM Express is always brought to you by Cherry Tree Properties. We develop spaces as though we are going to occupy them ourselves. Syntax Tank, it is strong, it is tough. Alomo Bitters, experience greatness in every moment, and the Ghana AIDS Commission. Tonight, my guest is the minority leader himself, who is joining us for a conversation about everything else that has been happening in Parliament. He's here with me in the studio, and I'm pretty sure you've heard in the last few weeks the issues surrounding James Achukwueze and the solidarity that his side began to show towards him. But today, they came up against the speaker who ruled that if they leave to go and solidarize, then they'll be marked as absent without permission. I wonder how he's resolving that, because there is a real threat if you trigger Article 97(1)(c), that if they miss 15 sittings in this particular meeting because you're solidarizing, it could trigger a vacation of their seats, and that is pretty controversial. But there's a bit more to speak to him about, especially on the back of that overwhelming victory at Assin North and everything else that has happened since then. You don't want to miss it. Stay with me. After this quick break, my guest, Dr. Kayse Latofo-Singh, the minority leader, will sit for a conversation. And thank you very much for staying with us here on PM Express. My guest is Dr. Kayse Latofo-Singh. He is the minority leader, and he joins me in the studio on a very, very busy day in Parliament indeed. And today, many, many things happened. They started a process to amend the standing orders. They have also passed this amendment with the Section 43 of the Narcotics Control Commission Act, etc., etc. And so thank you very much for agreeing to come on such a busy day, on a day also when there was a major controversy about what happens when you leave to go and support your members who are on trial. But we'll come to all that. I mean, this is the first time we are sitting to talk. In fact, I guess you're sitting to even talk after the Assin North by-election. Correct. Considering that the individual who stood on the party's ticket was one of your own, until the Supreme Court expunged his name and you were there to fight for his cause. How have you fared since that victory?
First, let me thank you for the opportunity to engage me this evening. Let me say that Assin North, from day one, I knew it was going to be a very important elections for the people of Ghana and to us, the NDC. We took it really serious. The NPP really took it like a World Cup. So all the two political parties, took it very serious. So understanding Assin North, I know Assin North to be a constituency in a swing region, central region, and a swing constituency by itself. Since its creation in 2012, the NDC won first in 2012. Then NDC lost 2016. In 2016, after winning 2012 with an MP and a presidential candidate, we lost 2016. Yeah. When 2016, a new government came in. And remember when we won it in 2012, we formed government. In 2016, when we lost office, and the party that won formed government with overwhelming majority. So they won both presidential and parliamentary in 2016. In 2020, when the people of Ghana voted skirt and brows, President Akufo-Addo, an opposition parliament, Assin North voted for the presidential candidate of the NPP and voted for the parliamentary candidate of the NDC in 2020. And so you could see the trend that 2012, 2016, 2020, they've always gone the way Ghana has voted. And it presupposes that they vote for the ordinary Ghanaian. Aside that, this is a constituency that you can find almost every tribe there.
Now, I was surprised to hear that
There are Gans.
Gandangbeis.
The Gandangbeis. There are places called Ningo, Gangai, and there are Gans from Labadi. I mean, not fishing, but farming. There are people from my constituency. There are people from the northern part, different tribes. Almost every tribe is in that constituency. But they represent Ghana. So looking at the demography of the constituency and the voting pattern and all of that, I knew, for me, it's a midterm election that we're going. 2, it's an election that whoever wins will more or less win the next election. Because clearly, it is a vote that represents the views of the people. And 1.5 years to election, if you get your message right and the people buy in, the people of Ghana will certainly buy into your message. And that is why the MPP did not relax. They threw everything at us and not everything. Who wasn't there in the MPP? Almost everybody was there. Almost everybody. From minister to MP, almost everybody was there. But in the end, the NDC carried the day. We won, increased our numbers, our percentage. In terms of percentage of valid vote cast, we increased it. We also increased our nominal percent votes.
At the time, you dropped the actual real numbers?
Slightly. At the time, that because of low turnout, even though there was low turnout, we had higher percentage.
But this is, in Ghana's by-election history, one of the highest.
Yes, 70-something percent.
Yes, exactly.
70-something percent.
By-election was one of the highest turnouts.
You hardly get 70-something percent.
Yes, in by-election.
Always
50.
We saw something like 50-something percent.
Yes.
Okay, so it tells a story. And I knew there was no way MPP was going to win.
You sure about that?
Oh, no, from day
because
one.
Among NDC ranks, so people who felt...
I heard some saying it's 50-50.
Yeah, that was 50-50. In fact, there's some who actually thought you're going to lose.
Oh, no. They were not on the ground. Okay, so I was on the ground from day one. And I spent almost 2 weeks or 3 weeks in the constituency. And their views are not different from the views on the street of Accra. The mess that we are seeing in this administration in terms of poor governance, in terms of mismanagement of Ghanaian economy, increasing corruption, and many more, are the very sentiment that you can find in those villages and in the farms. And I was surprised at the level of intelligence by the people of Asenot. Really surprised. They're extremely intelligent people. And the kind of, belief that they have in the state of Ghana. And they believe that this government is a mistake. So I knew from day one that it doesn't matter whatever they will throw at them, but they know what they are going to do, and they voted accordingly. So the results for me didn't come to me as a surprise, because I had touched at least 85% of the constituency in 3 weeks. 85%, if not 90% of the constituency I had touched.
So clearly you believe you have the momentum going into next year's elections. But I submit to you, this is just a by-election.
Oh, yes.
There are many by-elections in the past where incumbents have won and lost the general elections in the next year. Well, and actually sometimes even lost the seat they had won in that by-election.
Okay, so first of all, you need to understand the kind of constituency that they won or lost eventually. Was it a swing constituency, by-election? And that's why I started by saying that it's coming, that by-election happened in a constituency that is swing by itself, and it's in a swing region.
The counter to that is you have 1.5 years to an election. In politics, that's a century.
Oh, no.
A lot can happen between now.
2 weeks is a long time in politics.
So you can see that factor alone will render the analysis and your expectations once a lot changes in the next 1 year.
What is going to change?
The economy will rebound.
I doubt.
The IMF is now in play.
I doubt. Let me first take you through the issues, major issues. Is corruption going to go away? There's not a government that is taking steps to deal with corruption. It's getting worse by the day. So it's not going to go away. And I do not see that. Item 2, poor governance. Is it going to go away? In fact, it's getting poorer by the day. So it's not going to go away. Number 3, the economic mismanagement is not going to go away. They are still mismanaging the economy, even under an IMF program, because the numbers I've seen so far, I'm not enthused. Government expenditure is still high up there.
That is something that will interrogate substantively
the interest
later.
rates that went down as a result of the debt restructuring has started going up again, the TB rate. And you've seen it going back up there. So all of that, I do not see hope. I do not think that this government is taking the needed steps to deal with the situations that we are facing as people.
Stay with me. Those are factors that would interrogate a bit in depth here on PM Express. And on the back of Asin North, we'll go straight into what has happened since then. Because what has happened since then is that the man who won, there's a significant controversy around whether or not his prosecution should continue or not. And then this played out in Parliament as well. And he led his team in making the decision that they were going to solidarize. So we would interrogate that a bit more right now. But first, remember that no matter your water needs, you need to call Syntex Tank because they have it all. Syntex Tanks is first to introduce double layer tank, and now you can have as many layers as you want. Syntex Tank is first to introduce white inner layer tanks in Ghana. We now introduce you to the customer specs order. We let you order any color and size of preference. Syntex Tanks gives you the longest warranty of 7 years, which no other tank gives you in Ghana. So whatever your water consumption, size of the project or demand, choose Syntex Tanks. We have agents nationwide. Call them on 0244-335-168 or shop online at syntexgh.com. Are you strong? Are you tough? Also, Cherry Tree Properties, desires are wishes. Beauty is a promise of happiness, but passion is everything. Thinking about buying a new home? Talk to those who build with passion. Sloan Square, find them. You will not regret it. It's a new gated community development at Sakumano, developed by Cherry Tree Properties, a one-of-a-kind, well-planned luxury you've never experienced. Contact them on 0553-662-366. Cherry Tree Properties, sophistication and class. Dr. Kisato Forse, so you won, but the reality is, James Achikwesi, on the back of the ruling of the High Court yesterday, will now have to go to court on a daily basis. In effect, he won't be able to represent his people the way you had anticipated after that massive victory. He'll be spending every day in court. That is a reality you have to contend with.
Evans, that is sad and most regretting.
How? This is a court of competence jurisdiction.
Evans, the people of Asin North has elected someone to a constitutional office to represent them in the Parliament of Ghana, to speak for them. They voted first for him in December 2020. For some reason, proxies of government prevented him virtually from performing his functions. He was injuncted from entering the chamber and from preventing him.
By court.
By court. He was injuncted. That's why he was by court.
I'm repeating that. I'm emphasizing that because.
So he was injuncted to the extent that he cannot represent his people and cannot carry himself as a member of parliament for 14 months.
The law allows that.
14 months.
The law allows
14 months.
If they find that you've actually in breach of any law, in this case, the Constitution.
But the question is, he was injuncted. Okay, so I've not gone to. So he was injuncted 14 months.
Legitimately so, some may add.
But he was injuncted.
True, but legitimately so.
I'm not going to go to the legitimacy or illegitimacy of the matter because it's going to be a long conversation. Because this is the first time we are seeing it in our democracy. I've never seen an MP who has been injuncted from performing his function for 14 months at the time the matter in question has not been judged. I've never seen one. So I'm not going to go into that details. Aside that, the Supreme Court came out with their pronouncement, declared the seat or the election, the 2020 election, null and void and of no legal effect. We accepted it, even though we are actually challenging the suit in court, the position of court. We went to the by-election The Speaker declared the seat vacant on the back of the pronouncement from the Supreme Court. And then he went into election. An election that the MPP threw everything at, with the hope that they were going to take the seat from Honorable Kwesi. But the people of Asen North, recognizing the mess in the governance structure that we are seeing, recognizing the mismanagement in the system, from economy to water, everything has been mismanaged, said that, look, we want to vote for Honorable James Gyakye Kwesi of the NDC. They brought him back. Now the same government once again. You want him to go to court, not once a week, but every single day as a member of parliament.
You want expedited delivery of justice.
It tells me that the government simply don't want the people of Asen North to be represented.
No, they want this case done quickly. So if he wins, he can go back to fully focusing
I don't think that is the intention of government.
What do you think the intention is?
I think the intention is to deny NDC the opportunity to have Honorable Kwesi to be voting with us and be doing business with us. The intention is to deny the people of Asen North from representation and to impoverish them. That is the idea. I do not think that the government has any different thinking apart from all what I've said. Because you see, the people voted for Gyakye Kwesi and voted for him resoundly. They want him to be the one representing them. I think it is only right for the government of the day, the NPP government, to recognize that the people have spoken. This is in a democracy.
But you're not suggesting
allow
that
him to speak. To do his job.
Once you get voted for, then if you break the law and the enforcers of the law should allow you to...
Well, I don't think he's broken any law. I don't think so.
That's the case against him.
I don't think so.
And you don't believe that, you disagree, but the prosecutors believe so.
Yeah. So that is why
the court must decide.
So the court must decide.
Yeah. So you should.
But he should also not be prevented from doing his job. The judge is certainly doing his job. Okay, Honorable Kwesi is also occupying a constitutional office, and he should be allowed to do his job. He can go to court maybe once a week, maybe when Parliament is not in session, but he should be allowed to work. He should be allowed to work, simply put. And we think that this is not prosecution, it is persecution.
Why do you say that?
Oh yes. And as I said, from day one, they didn't want him even to be sworn in as a member of
Parliament. To come to a conclusion is also to indict the judiciary.
Oh no, we are not going there.
No, but when you say it's
persecution by the government. I mean, the judiciary, they are yet to come out with their pronouncement, have they?
But that's why they've gone to a court.
No, the judiciary is yet to make pronouncement on the criminal case before it. They've not made pronouncement. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the process, what the government is taking him through.
But they believe they have a case against him.
And I don't think they have a case. And
so that's why they've gone to court.
And nothing stops me from saying that they don't have a case.
True, but that's why the state also believes contrary. And to prove that, prove who is right, you must go to court.
Yes,
how is that persecution?
It's persecution because, one, they didn't want him to enter the chamber on the eve of the 6th of January 2021. They tried everything possible not to allow him to enter the chamber. We ensured he was sworn in. They injuncted him for 14 months, prevented him from doing his duties as a member of parliament for 14 months. Aside that, they took the matter to court. The court made pronouncement on it and said that, look, the election was null and void, and so there should be the need for another election. He contested. When he filed his nomination, the Attorney General went to court and urged the court to hear the case on a daily basis, to prevent him from campaigning a week to the election, to prevent him from campaigning. How can someone who has 1 week to election, contesting for election, leave his constituency where he's supposed to campaign, leave there and attend court on a daily basis? So clearly it tells me that they are persecuting the guy. Aside that, the guy has won. He's supposed to represent his people. Parliament sits Tuesdays to Fridays. You are saying that he cannot sit and that he has to be in court on a daily basis. I mean, what is this?
Yeah, the rule
What
of
is
law.
this?
The rule
What
of
is this?
law.
So we are saying that even if you will get him to go to court, it should not be on a daily basis. You should recognize that in as much as you are holding, he, the one that is prosecuting him, is holding a constitutional office, also holding a constitutional office.
On that,
he has a responsibility to the people
on that
of
matter,
Assembly.
you've lost that battle. I mean, yeah, you've lost that battle for now because the High Court just...
Yes, the High Court ruled on the
Yes,
matter, and I learned the counsel.
You're going to repeat it at the appeals court whilst you challenge the substantive.
So we'll wait for the court.
Yeah,
to make
but then you decided, and because you're the minority leader, it was your decision. You got your members to toe the line.
Yes.
Now, all of you, each day Jachi Kwesi is in court, will in effect, boycott the House and show solidarity.
It's a complete boycott. Yes, we are boycotting sittings anytime.
But
the Honorable Kwesi.
But you were sent to Parliament, all of you, to represent your people. You've chosen solidarity with one member over the interest of your constituents.
So let me tell you, we are a group, we are a caucus, okay? And if you sit unconcerned for government to pick your members one by one and persecute them in the way that we are seeing them doing to our colleague, Honorable Kwesi, they will come after everyone, one of you. We have decided as a caucus to ensure that every day or any day that our colleague will be invited to go to court, we'll go with him. They have to contend with that. If they want him to be in the courtroom on a daily basis, we'll also be there on a daily basis. The government will have to choose government business against Kwesi's appearance on a daily basis. If they want us to assist the government to run effectively, they have to choose from that. But
so this is your quarrel with the government?
So this is our quarrel with the government.
But in doing so, in picking this quarrel and fighting it, you acknowledge that the people who actually suffer are the people you represent?
The people that will actually suffer are going to suffer because we've elected an insensitive government, a government that only cares about themselves, a government that is only preoccupation is to persecute Honorable Kwesi. And the government should be the one to be blamed. We want the people of Ghana to speak and talk about the fact that the way and manner that the government is treating Honorable Kwesi is not right.
But is that the best approach to fighting something that you believe is an injustice when the real interest of the people are at stake?
Okay, so first, this is just our first line of, let me put it this way. This is our first sign or first activity that we are doing. We are undertaking to signal the fact that we are not happy with what is going on. There are so many other things we are going to do in the coming days. We may escalate it to another level. I won't take you through that, but we will escalate it. It's a decision that we will take as a caucus, and we may escalate it going forward from next week.
So you are determined to show solidarity. Why then were you making an application today for the Speaker to mark your members as absent with permission?
Yes, because we informed the Speaker. You recall that I informed the Speaker from day one that...
you said it on the floor.
Yes, and it's a way of informing the Speaker. We served notice that this is what we are going to do. And I laid bare what has happened to Kwesi. I talked about the fact that they want him to go to court on a daily basis and all of that. And going forward, in as much as they want him to go to court on a daily basis, we will also boycott and attend court with him on a daily basis until there's a change. Okay? And that the government must reconsider their decision and do what is right. Okay? And allow him to function as a member of parliament, representing the people of Asen North. Until then, we are not going to cooperate with government. We've said that. First, it is only right for a member to put it out there, to ask the Speaker what the procedure will be. So the Speaker has clarified the position.
The Speaker's position is clear?
It's clear.
Now if you go,
yes.
you'll
so
be
now
as absent
not
without
necessary.
permission.
Not necessary. I mean, the Chief Whip or myself can write to the Speaker on a day that we are going to court to tell the speaker that we are going to court and we won't be there. And the speakers...
But that won't be enough because the Constitution is a constitutional matter.
Yes.
Article 97(1)(c) says to absent yourself, you need his permission in writing.
Yes. So the chief whip can write for all of us, or I can write for all
of us. You can write to the speaker, but the speaker must give you the permission to go in writing.
And I doubt the speaker will not grant the permission. The speaker will have to grant that permission because boycott is part of democratic activities that people do. It's part of the tools that we take.
But here is where it gets complicated. James Atuquesne, at least, is going to face a daily trial, which means it's very possible that he's going to go before the court for 15 sittings of Parliament every single day in this meeting, which means you will be hitting the constitutional threshold of 15 sittings. And in each of those sittings, you say you're going to be applying for the speaker to grant all 137 of you permission to go.
Obviously.
That clearly is not realistic, is it?
Why is it not realistic? I'm
because
not
the Constitution never anticipated that you have 137 MPs absenting themselves from the House for 15 sittings at a go.
Okay, so Evans, put it this way. Boycott is part of the tools that members of Parliament can use to express their dissatisfaction about something. I mean, it's one of the tools, democratic tools that we use in Parliament. We can't boycott at any time. We are also aware of the constitutional articles dealing with absenteeism from Parliament. And that is why members today felt that there was the need to bring to attention of the Speaker why there was the need for Parliament to mark us absent with permission because we have served notice. The Speaker has subsequently ruled and has said that we should seek his permission. He never said that when you seek the permission, he's going to decline it. Let us not speculate. Let's first ask permission from the Speaker on days that we will go to court and let the Speaker write back yes or no, and from that time we can speak. But I'm saying boycott is not the only tool. There are so many other tools.
Are you prepared to amend this resolution for all of you to go? Vary it somewhat to get some of you at least. I think the leadership could go, but at least the House should function. Is it something you're prepared to do?
We are not moving an inch on our position.
On this one?
And this is the position of the caucus, it's the position of the party. We are not moving.
Because I asked you.
We are not changing our
I asked you that again on James Atuquesne's case. You're actually prepared to stay out of the House, all 137 of you, for the entire the rest of this meeting. You're prepared to do that?
We are ready to go any length. And as I said to you earlier, this is just the beginning of what we can do. There are other tools that we are going to implement in the coming days. And it may be more than boycott. Let's see.
But Dr. Kesatoforsi, just pause for a second and think about the consequences.
Yes, we have paused for a second.
You've thought about it already?
We want the government to pause for a second and think about what they are also doing.
But that is where the Speaker's prerogative comes into play.
Yes.
And many will look at the Constitution, the spirit of this particular clause I quoted, 97(1)(c), and say the reason why it is there is so that we ensure that you represent your people.
Yes,
and if the Speaker actually agrees to give you a blank check written permission to absent all of you, absent yourself for the rest of the life of this meeting, that will be offending the spirit of this particular clause.
Is this the first time we're seeing a boycott of any kind?
But this is unique.
No, this is not unique. This is not unique. Speaker Babin himself led when he was then the minority leader at a point.
This is an indefinite boycott.
Led the NDC minority at the time to almost about 2 weeks of boycott. You know that?
2 weeks of boycott?
Yes. Almost about 2 weeks. The Speaker himself led the NDC minority for almost about, I think, if my memory serves me right, it's about 13 days or 14 days of boycott, parliamentary setting. So it's no news. It's not the first time. And we are not changing on this matter. We are going to see this through. It's our position. We are going to implement it to the latter. The position may vary on a daily basis, depending on what we want to do as a caucus. There are times that it may be more than a boycott. There are times that will be something else. I can't tell you, but I can assure you that it's just the beginning of series of activities that the NDC minority will be taking.
So you're doing this so all of you can solidarize. What about your members who, yes, are not in the House, but also not in the court to show support? They're not in the House.
I don't know of any member that is not in the House.
Because we've been counting.
Yeah, which one?
I mean, we've been counting the number of you who show up. The first day, my reporter counted almost all of you. Mm-hmm. The second day when it happened, this week.
No, the second day happened on a Monday.
Yes.
And Mondays, most people went to their constituency.
Well, but solidarity is solidarity.
Yes, no, of course. They came in later.
So we were still expecting even if it's on a Monday, because you want to solidarize.
Look, some of them went to their constituency. And, members of parliament does not work. Most of us will not be in a crowd on a Monday. Mm. Okay, most of us get back in on Tuesdays, go to parliament, and exit Accra for their constituencies on Friday. So it's normal. And I don't think that is an issue. The NDC minority, we are together on this. It is a collective position, and we are going to implement it.
On days when Parliament is sitting, you expect all 137 of you to be, and if it coincides with a sitting, a hearing of the case, you expect all of you to be in court.
Yes.
So for those who don't show up,
it depends. There are times that some of them may have traveled abroad, or some may be indisposed. So you can't get exactly 137 a particular day. Mm. There are personal circumstances that someone may not be available, even in Parliament. So you don't get all 137 NDC members of Parliament in the House. I mean, today I counted only about 20 MPP MPs, but there are 137 plus one independent candidate. Some are abroad, some are in their constituencies, some may be indisposed, and other reasons. So you don't expect all 137 NDC MPs to be in
some of your majority colleagues have pleaded with you to reconsider. In fact, there was a press conference by the Okankwe Central Member of Parliament, if I'm not mistaken, this week, asking you to reconsider. I wonder if at the leadership level, on the majority side, they've reached out to you to try and reach some sort of an agreement on this.
Not yet, but
not at all?
Not yet. No one has reached out to me in person or spoke to any of my colleagues in leadership on the matter. I've heard the majority leader put out some comment. I think I saw it on one of the social media handles, I think Twitter or something from TV3 or one of these stations, that he intends to reach out to me or to the leadership of the minority for us to have a dialogue on the matter. But we are waiting. We are waiting. Until then, we aluta continua.
You willing to sit and talk over this?
We are ready. Our doors are open. We are Democrats. Communication channels must always be opened, and I'm in good faith. Our demands are clear. We think it's unfair for Honorable Kwesi to be tried daily, whilst he has a responsibility to represent his people, and he has to be in Parliament on at least 4 days within a week, and you are taking that away from him. We think that they are denying the people of Assin North from representation. So it's a fight for the people of Assin North. The NDC is standing with the people of Assin North. We think that they deserve to be represented appropriately in Parliament. And what the government is seeking to do is to deny them from representation and to stop them from getting their due from the national cake. We think it's unfair, and the NDC will stand with them.
And finally, before we shift to other important matters, you've indicated here that this boycott is actually the first in a series of steps you plan to take as part of your protest.
Correct.
What else can happen? This is the worst you could do, is not?
I don't think it's the worst we can do.
Boycott in Parliament is the worst in your arsenal.
Wait and see what will happen next.
Okay, well.
So that's what I can tell you. Just wait and see.
That's Kaysel
are unfolding. Let's wait and see.
That's Dr. Kaysel Atofosing. He is the minority leader. I'm going to take a quick break. When I return, in Parliament today, the minority had argued, in fact, presented an urgent statement on the IGP. following the circulation of that leaked tape in which it is suggested that there's a plot to remove him as part of this grand conspiracy to rig the 2024 elections. It was a debate on the floor. I would ask him why they're pushing this matter and what really did they want out of this, especially because the Speaker had ruled on this today and the Speaker had asked them to come back tomorrow with their proposed terms of reference. There's a lot to get into on that. But remember, before he became the minority leader, he was the ranking member on the Finance Committee in Parliament. And he's also a doctor in that particular area. He's gone to school and achieved laurels in that area. I cannot let him leave without asking him questions about the economy, because as we heard today from the Speaker, the Finance Minister is going to be coming to present a mid-year budget review, and I want to hear his thoughts on that. But also, he's surprised that the majority members who started the Kent Must Go seem to have gone very, very quiet, even after the IMF deal was struck. His thoughts on all that and more after this. And PM Express is always brought to you by Cherry Tree Properties. We develop spaces as though we are going to occupy them ourselves. Syntax tanks, it is strong, it is tough. Alomo bitters experience greatness in every moment. Ghana AIDS Commission as well. Remember that no matter your water needs, Syntax tank has it all. Syntax tank is first to introduce the double layer tank, and now you can have as many layers as you want. Syntax tank is first to introduce white inner layer tanks in Ghana. You now introduce you to the customer specs order. You can order your own specs. This is custom made, bespoke, only a Syntax tank, and they have the longest warranty ever when it comes to this particular area, 7 years, which no other tank in Ghana will give you. So whatever your water consumption, size of project or demand, choose Syntax tank. We have agents nationwide. Call them 0244-335-168 or shop online at syntaxgh.com. Are you strong? Are you tough? And let's talk about buildings for a second, because I'm pretty sure you know that desires are just wishes. The beauty is a promise of happiness. But the real thing is passion, because it is everything. And you need to talk to the people they build with passion. And they have Sloane Square up for you to consider. It's a new gated community development at Sakumono, developed by Cherry Tree Properties, one of the kind, well-planned luxury you have never experienced. You need to call them. It's 0553-662-633, 0553-662-366. Cherry Tree Properties, sophistication and class. My guest is still the minority leader, Dr. Cassiel Ato-Forson, who is waging a significant battle in Parliament. Today was another battle, which has to do with a leaked tape in which it is suggested or alleged that there's a plot to remove the Inspector General of Police, Dr. Kufu Dampori. You argued on the floor in an urgent statement. Why was it urgent?
Okay. Under the rules of Parliament, one can come on Order 72 to request the Speaker to give him or her a space to briefly comment on a matter of urgent public importance. We think that the matter before us, on the matter relating to the leaked tape recorded by some MPP activists and certain commissioner of police.
But we don't know that yet. We don't know who recorded it.
Well, okay, so
that's the subject of a program may happen.
Let me not even bring the person who recorded. But let me say, the conversation occurred between some MPP activists and certain commissioners of police, police commissioners. The details of the tape, the conversation, is what is worrying to us. It is a matter that we believe that the people of Ghana should be interested in. Parliament should be interested in. It is a matter that will require forensic investigation. Evans, I say this for a simple reason. I don't know if you've listened to the tape.
A bit, yes.
The content of the tape is simple. That they should change IGP Dampare on the basis that IGP, the Inspector General of Police, did not allow them to operate in a way that they were unable to rig the elections in Asen North, and that if they failed to remove him from office, and if they fail to bring in someone they believe can do the bidding of the party, certainly they will not be able to rig the 2024 election. And so they should case the 2024 elections goodbye. This is treasonable. This is disrespectful to the will of the people of Ghana. This cannot be pleasant. It is a matter that will require immediate investigation, and we believe that it should be forensic.
But do you have the capacity?
We should be able to. You see, Parliament, we have the resources to be able to engage any form of consultancy or any form of assistance. Let me put it this way: assistance in unraveling the matter. Evans, we are where we are because of democracy. Any attempt to destroy the democracy, we are celebrating 30 years so far. Since 1992 to date, this is the 31st year. We are saying that this is the only republic that has been most enduring, and we should do whatever it takes to preserve it. We've had a police commissioner saying that Inspector General of Police should be removed from office because if he's there, he will not allow them to rig an election. I was at Asen North. Yes, I saw professionalism from the Ghana Police Service. I saw it, and I'm not the only one. All what MPP want the police to do for them is for them not to be professional, but rather side with the government of the day, aid them in their rigging activities. And because he failed to do that, he should be removed from office and bring someone who will help them to rig an election. That is the basis.
The Interior Minister on the floor today was categorical that the President, and by extension, his government and the party, have no interest in removing George Akufo-Addo. In fact, he endorses His Excellence and says that as far as the President is concerned, he's done a good job, and so they have no intention of removing him. You don't believe him?
Why should I believe him? Well, I wasn't there when the President made those statements to him.
No, but he said it.
No, I can vouch for that. I cannot vouch for that.
But he's the Interior Minister.
I cannot vouch for that. Simple. He himself can be sacked by the President.
That's true.
He himself can be sacked by the President.
But
in the same vein, he's not the one who appointed the IGP.
But he's telling you.
But he is not the one who appointed the IGP. So he can be sacked. He can be sacked. This is a president that has said on political platforms that no matter what, he's going to hand over to an NPP government. Are you not aware of that? He never said, I'll hand over to someone who will win. He said, I will hand over to an MPP government, another MPP government.
Every politician expects to win an election.
Please.
That's his expectation.
Please. Expectations, he didn't put it this way, that is his expectation. He will ensure that he hands over to an MPP government. It includes ways and means.
So you plan on
the basis of that.
You got the pro because the speaker approved it.
Yes.
Except that the terms of reference is yet to be determined.
We are writing the terms of reference. It will be delivered to the speaker tomorrow morning because we moved the motion. My Deputy Honorable Kofi Amabua moved the motion. And we want the terms of reference to include forensic examination of the tape. Forensic examination of the tape. So we will not be able to do it ourselves, but we can engage experts.
You're going to get experts
for us to find out if that statement is indeed coming from that COP, whoever they call him. I don't know.
You'll be inviting them once you establish that.
We will have to invite them in public. In public.
So you want this sitting done in public?
In public, and it should be starting soon. As early as tomorrow, if possible.
As in cameras allowed into the sitting of this particular program.
Exactly. And we want all the individuals whose names were mentioned in the tape to be present.
Before a public hearing?
Before a public hearing. And we'll play this and ask them whether this is their voices.
That will be after you had established the authenticity.
Exactly.
Using the forensic experts.
We have to. And that is what we intend doing. Because this is not a matter that we should sweep it under the carpet. Because it has the potential of eroding our democratic gains that we've made so far.
You don't think this is a sensitive matter that borders on national security that needs to be heard in camera?
It goes beyond national security, the democracy. I mean, the liberties that you are enjoying today is because of the democracy that we have, and we should preserve it. Any attempt to destroy the democracy that we have today must be confronted head on. I'm sitting with you because of the democracy.
But before you go, very quickly, the finance minister is coming to present the media budget review next week.
Yep.
What's your expectation?
It's going to be a very difficult media review. It is coming at a time that government has just signed on into an IMF program. The IMF obviously will have to go through their reviews, and if there are some slippages, they will have to recommend measures, either a new increase in taxes or a cut in expenditure or a structural benchmark in the MEFP, Memorandum of Economic and Financial Policy, that they've agreed with the IMF. They will have to agree with it and see the benchmarks. So we are going to follow it with all our might, and we are going to watch every line of the budget.
Do you expect new revenue measures?
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, because if you read the MEFP carefully, they are asking for additional measures of about 1% of GDP. And I don't know where it's going to come from. If I look carefully, there's room for expenditure cut, massive room for expenditure cut, but the government obviously is in discipline and they don't seem to care. They want to live large on the back of the people of Ghana. So they need to cut that kind of expenditure. And if I'm the one in charge or responsible, I would rather go for cutting expenditure as against a tax measure or an increase in taxation. So let's see what they will do. The IMF is in town, obviously, and they will guide them appropriately.
What's your verdict now that the IMF is in town? They have approved the deal. The deal has now been implemented. 600 million has come in, etc. Will this turn around this economy in 3 years?
Ghana's economy needs at least 10 years to be turned around.
In fact, that was the initial assessment by the finance ministry themselves.
10 years, no doubt about it. We sat as people of Ghana, unconcerned to allow the Akufo-Addo government and the finance ministry manage or, supervised by the economic management team headed by the vice president to run our economy aground, completely aground, unconcerned. That's what we did. The hole is deep. It will not take us less than 10 years to recover. It will take a long time. On the back of debt.
It begs the question.
You see, today we have overloaded debt. And we can't solve the problem.
My time is just up, but I need to ask you this very frankly. On the back of what you've just said, if you win next year, will you renew the IMF program?
You see, the IMF program is for 3 years.
Yes.
So it's not about you renewing it or not. You have a baggage to carry on the implementation of the IMF program. So you have no choice. IMF does not deal with political parties. They deal with governments. So you inherit a program. You have to see it through.
Yes, but when the 3 years ends?
Yes, when the 3 year ends. You are not there. You don't know. It depends on the program.
Okay.
But I strongly believe that you have no option than to continue with the IMF program and end it appropriately.
And after 3 years, if you win, would there be the need to renew?
After 3 years, we don't know the kind of mess that we will inherit for us to make a pronouncement at this stage.
That is Dr. Kaysel Atofosing, and you're back in the house tomorrow with the terms of reference for the investigation of that security. We wish you well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.